Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I want to give a quick take on the whole fidget spinner trend that's arisen, risen in the EDC community. First off, there were a lot of people who look at these and go, Nick, what the heck are you doing? What are these about? Etc. These are unique in the EDC world as they are something that there is a whole class of people who simply do not need and do not care about. I personally am a fidgeter. What that means is that, if I'm sitting in a meeting, I will be constantly disassembling a pen or something like that, or doodling. That's just kind of who I am. In order for my brain to be working at its highest capacity, my hands need to be doing something else. It's not that I'm not paying attention. It's not that I'm not interested in what's going on. It's just that if my hands aren't doing anything, for whatever reason, that's a cognitive block for me. I don't know why that is. I don't know if what it says about me as a human, but the simple fact is that for me, even something as simple as going back and forth like this in the middle of, or as I'm watching code compile, or as I'm trying to figure out what the heck I need to be doing next when I'm dealing with a hard problem, it can actually be supremely helpful. Now, the thing is, if you've gotten this far and you're just like, I don't know what the heck this guy is on about, he's insane, then yes, I am insane, and fidget spinners are definitely not for you. That's the fundamental thing. If you don't get it, you're not gonna get it, and so you don't need to bother. And in many ways, good on you. That's probably a nicer way to go through life. For those of you who do get it, who are thinking, yeah, I am a fidgeter, these can offer some compelling alternatives to existing fidgeting methods. For instance, for pen disassemblers, you always run the risk of a spring flying across the room, or, the ink getting all over your hands and whatnot. Not a huge risk, and us experienced pen disassemblers can do it relatively straightforwardly. But yeah, you can avoid that little bit of pain. Similarly, if you are just playing with something in your hands thing, it's very easy for you to accidentally drop that and, have it roll away onto something, paper folders, that kind of thing. If you're a doodler, often you don't have paper and things like that, so this is a little bit easier, and this has some pretty serious advantages as well, in that you don't need a flat surface to do it. You can just spin this guy in your hands. You can be standing, you can be sitting, you can be walking, whatever. It just gives you a little something to do with your hand, and that's kind of a nice thing. The little spinning tops where you actually put it down on a surface and it spins like the kid's toy. I reviewed one of them. I took a huge freaking bath, and I've sworn them off because most of the time I need to be thinking. I'm not necessarily going to be standing in front of a perfectly flat surface. That's an important thing. You can just carry these around in your pocket. The other thing is that this is relatively quiet. When these are in good adjustment, they spin pretty much silently, which means you can be spinning this guy if you wanted to in a meeting. I mean, people are going to look at you like you're crazy, but presumably they already know you're crazy, and so, a quick explanation, and you're back on your way. They still think you're insane, and it kind of works out in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, there you go. The silence is a nice thing, especially relative to clicking pens and other things that are likely to make your coworkers want to kill you. So, that's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, though, the fidget spinner thing's got some downsides. Unfortunately, there is a huge bubble, I think, in the fidget market right now. These are relatively new to the scene, and so there's suddenly a lot of demand. It's become a fad, it's become a trend, and as a result, people are paying stupid amounts of money for them. Both at the retail prices, $200 for this little thing? It's nice enough as a spinner, but all it's doing is going back and forth. Really? Really? And then on the secondary market, because there's not enough production to meet these desires from people haven't tooled up for massive fidget spinner production lines. There's always more demand, and so people are paying even more money than that on the secondary market, which to me is just tulip mania. You can Google that term, but similar things have happened in the custom knife market. A hot new maker arrives or something like that, and people pay stupid amounts of money. The thing is, though, as soon as these manufacturers catch up to the demand, everybody who's bought a fidget spinner or who wants a fidget spinner has gotten one of them and decided they love it or they don't, suddenly those prices are going to take a nosedive. And if you're paying above retail, frankly, even if you're paying the retail prices that are going currently, you're probably going to take a bath. And so that's pretty ugly right now. It's very nice to have these nicely made metal ones, and I hope that these stick around. I'm curious about some of the other ones that are out there. CKF, Custom Knife Factory's making one, the Greemsmos are making one, etc. But the simple fact is that if you're just looking for something to fidget, these little $20 models are not necessarily that much worse. What you're getting when you move from $20 to $200 is a nicer construction. You get metal. But honestly, it still fills the same urge. It still scratches the same itch. You get better durability, but you really needing super durability? Is this a hard-use fidget spinner? Really? Are we going there? But anyways, so the amount of money that's flying around these things is absolutely insane. The other thing to remember is that social norms haven't exactly caught up to fidget spinning culture yet. At a very real level, and especially with the ones that are more toy-like, people are not going to understand if you bust this guy out of your pocket in the middle of a boardroom meeting. It's just not a thing. People kind of understand taking apart pens and whatnot, but the fact that you not only fidget, but that you have purchased something of considerable cost to fidget with is a little bit weird to some folks, and I can't say I blame them, honestly. This is a very, very different thing. If you're the CEO, you can get away with it. Next thing you know, everybody in the room's going to have a fidget spinner just to suck up to you. Good on you. But people are going to realize that you're ridiculous. I don't say that they're going to think you are, because chances are you're ridiculous. That's okay. You got to learn to deal with that. That's a part of being a human. Embracing your ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. There we go. But anyways, language is hard. You're going to have to keep that in mind. These are not something that you can use everywhere. And, socially speaking, it can get a little bit weird and a little bit awkward when you start busting these little guys out. So that's kind of my take on the fidget spinners. They're a very nice thing. They can be good to keep your mind occupied. And if you want to have one at your desk or something like that, A-okay. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You're gonna be getting just as much fidgetation, just as much mental unlocking out of something that's inexpensive relative to something that's, oh my freaking god, expensive. There is a huge bubble burning at the moment. Burning? Sure, burning, bursting, whatever, on the fidget market. And so if you get in deep, you gotta lose deep. In all likelihood. I'm no psychic, but still. And remember that these are not always socially appropriate. But if you get those things, then you know what? Fidget spinners are kind of fun. Personally, I think I'm probably going to stick with this little cheapy guy. It does the trick for me. It doesn't cost me a whole lot of money. And honestly, I don't know. I think all I need out of a fidgeting tool, I've got right here. And I already own it. But thank you to all of my viewers who loaned these guys along. I acknowledged them in the review previously, but and most of all, I hope that whether you fidget or not, you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.